Hey YouTube, T. Holtz here. Going to do an update of my 10-gallon shrimp tank. Things have been going along pretty well with this tank. I started out with 10 shrimp that I purchased, and unfortunately most of the adults are gone. They died. I may have 2 of the original 10 left, but at least 2 shrimp came buried with the eggs, and they hatched, and I probably have 45 shrimp in here now, and they're all doing quite well. There's a male shrimp right there on that leaf. They're all over in here. Another male. There are a couple females in here. I don't know if I can zoom in on them enough so that you can see, but there is a couple females in here. There's one that has the eggs. You can see the yellow patch there on the back of her tail. That is the eggs there. And a male coming to greet her. There's another one back there on the heater. I don't know if it's going to focus in there. That one too has a yellow patch there on the back of the tail, so that one's carrying eggs as well. I did have one of the original ones have the eggs hatch here last week. I don't know how many she had. They're very small, hard to see when they're first come out. Well, I really don't know how many are in here, but there are some babies. Plants in here doing well. This is my favorite of my 3 tanks because it's the most recent one that I planted, and it's not as terribly overgrown because I put better plants in here, more suitable for my tank. I didn't put plants that are gonna grow really fast and need to be trimmed. I mean, it is still a little overgrown, but I'm going to take out some of these plants and put it in another tank pretty soon. Right here in the front, you see all this cryptparva here, right in the front, one after the other. Well, that's all runners that came from the mother plant, which is in the back. And they came all the way through the front here, so I'm going to be cutting them out and putting them in my 20 long. Well, I'm going to do a rework on that 20 long eventually, and take some of these cryptparva plants out and put them in that 20 long. They're more suitable for a 20 long than the large plants I have in there now. Let's see, there's some shrimp here grazing on the Java moss. They're just about everywhere. Plants are doing well. There's a nice Anubias nana. Riccia moss just appeared there. I put Riccia moss in this tank, and that one attached to the roots of the of that Anubias plant. Eventually it'll come off of there. As it gets too big, it'll lose its grip on the roots, but it looks pretty good right now while it's there. There's a big this Crip here looks really nice. Crip Wente red. A lot of nice color in that plant. Looks good. Also a nice color for a plant is these dwarf lilies. This one here is staying nice and short after I trimmed it. Originally it sent all kinds of shoots to the top of the tank, probably about 6 or 8 of them. I cut them off because they were blocking the light, and now it's staying nice and low. The one next to it, that one's getting tall. It's got some shoots going to the top. There's one right there. Another one over here, a couple more over there. I haven't trimmed too many off of that one. If I trim those off, they'll probably start growing nice and low also. There's one of my autosinkless catfish. There's 3 of them in here. I feed them algae wafers, and then a couple times a week I put in a slice of zucchini, blanched zucchini. I stick it on the glass with a vegetable clip, and they eat that as well as whatever else they could find growing on the leaves and on the driftwood. There's a whole bunch of shrimp right there under this driftwood. And there's one that's got, it's hard to see, there's not enough light under there, but it does have, there's a couple there that have eggs that'll be hatching in the coming weeks. In the back there is a Crypt undulata, a nice plant that stays short for a 10-gallon tank, and an Amazon sword plant, but a small one there in the back has got new leaves on it, but hasn't gotten tall, which it's not supposed to. It only gets about 6 inches tall, which is perfect for this size of tank. Java moss here on the top. The shrimp love laying in the Java moss and eating whatever grows on there. And I have some duckweed here on the top. Took a lot of duckweed out the other day. Yesterday, this whole area here was all covered with duckweed, and it wasn't getting any light going down, so I took the duckweed out, and it'll grow back. In this tank it grows differently. It has much longer roots than it does in the other tank, because this light here, this green element LED light, is closer to the surface, and it's got some bright light on this tank, and so that makes the duckweed grow with longer roots than it does in my other tanks. Let's see. One problem I did have, let me show you if I can see it here from a different angle. Nubius nana petite, growing right there on that driftwood there in the center. One problem I did have was I had I can't think of the official name of them, but the common name is scuds. Look like little white bugs that were crawling around on the substrate, and I didn't know what they were. And then lately I started out with 2. They must have came on the plants, and after a while I had about 12 or 15 of them in here. So I did some research on them and found they really weren't good to have in the shrimp tank, because they would be eating all the food that's meant for the shrimp, and maybe eventually eat some of the baby shrimp if they didn't have enough food. So I didn't want to leave them in here. So I've been as I see them, I've been siphoning them out. I got about 12 or so that I took out so far out of this tank. I don't see any in here right now. There was a few buried in the substrate. Here in the back I got a sponge on my Whisper 40 filter, and the shrimp like to sit on that sponge and eat whatever they could find on the sponge. There's one there on that plant leaf. They're doing well. All these were born in this tank, and they've become adults. And like I said, the ones that came with the tank, that I bought rather originally, most of the adults didn't make it. But the ones that did come pregnant already gave birth, and those are the shrimp that I have here. There might still be 1 or 2 from the original 10 that I bought. But the way I look at it, if I bought 10 shrimp and I got 45 and more to come, I think I'm doing quite well. I enjoy looking at this tank. I enjoy watching the shrimp scoot around and graze on whatever they could find. Got a lot of plants in here, but they are not... They're plants that stay low, so I don't have to worry about trimming them. After doing a couple of planted tanks, figured out what better plants to plant in a tank of this size, and it's working out fairly nice. My other tanks got overgrown quickly, but this one is doing quite well. You can see the shrimp are everywhere. I will take all these Cryptparva out here in the front. They just I just let them work their way there. They did root into the substrate. I'll take them out and put them in another tank eventually, in my 20-gallon long, once I get to working on that. But yeah, that's the update. 10-gallon shrimp tank, doing quite well. Thanks for watching.